Turn the volume up. Things are about to get raunchy.
Welcome back to Raunchy Regret Podcast. This is B-Word, and we have a full crew again this week. Boys, welcome into the podcast. How's everybody doing today?
Splendid.
Better now that I'm here with you, gentlemen.
Oh, that's so sweet.
No.
I was given the floor. I was waiting to hear about. I already heard about some ribs, but I wanted to hear about some brisket. You know, that wet ass pussy picture that AJ sent us. That it was just like, man, that thing looks delicious.
Photoshop.
It did look delicious.
Yeah. What website did you pull that off?
It wasn't real. The CIA. They're the best of that shit.
Fuckers.
No, we were walking through Smith's yesterday, and I was trying to figure out something to cook. I was thinking about doing a pork butt, and I was like, I want something that we can eat off for the next couple of days. And they had pork butt on sale, but right next to it, it was like brisket flats, and it was like $39. And I was like, for brisket, just for the flat? And I was like, I don't know about that. So then I looked at the end of the line, and at the end of the line was a whole brisket on sale for $40 with the point. And I was like, well, fuck yeah, let's go. So I got it, threw that bitch on at 10 o'clock last night, took it off at 1 p.m. today.
It looked delicious. How long did you let it rest?
We dug into it about 3 o'clock. So I took it off at 12, so about 3 hours. And it came out really, really good. The only thing I would change about it, though, is I think I had it on a little too long, and it got a little too brittle. You know, it didn't have too much elasticity to it, and it just kind of crumpled. Especially when I got to the point, I couldn't cut the point with my sharp-ass fucking knife because this thing's just brittle as hell. But I made sliders with it with some homemade coleslaw dressing, and it came out really good.
Nice.
It was really, really good. The first two were tremendous failures, so I'm glad 3 times the charm. It worked.
And then Beezy was going to smoke some ribs, and those didn't turn out very well, which is what we were talking about before the recording started.
They turned out. They
just not to expectation.
They weren't the greatest. I mean, they're edible. They were too temperature. They just weren't as tender as I would have liked them. Of course, I mean, when you skip a step, that definitely doesn't help. If they were lacking an extra hour's worth of cooking. So
yeah, that's why I don't like doing to the temperature, because I've learned with ribs, I have like a good time figured out with the ribs, and they just fall off. Because if like the ribs don't fall off the bone, I'm like, I'd rather them just fall off and just like melt in my mouth. Let's go. But it's the exact opposite with brisket, because now I'm like, maybe I do want to cook with temperature with brisket, so I can keep a little give with it.
Well, I was just way too fucking hungry, and this goddamn time change put me an hour ahead. So
why don't you guys all talk about that? I'll just back off for a second, because I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah,
whatever.
Arizona and 48 other bitches.
It fucked me up this morning. I've been not smoking the last like week and a half, and the main part of like why I do it so much is because I have trouble sleeping, and I will like naturally I am a night owl, but like no matter what I do, it will be like 2 or 3 in the morning when I go to bed. And with doing homework, it works like pretty good, but still I don't want to go to bed like past 1. And so when I got everything done last night, I'm just laying there. I'm like, okay, it's like 1 o'clock. I got to go to sleep. And I'm just laying there. And I look at the clock, and I'm like, if it says 2, I'm going to lose my shit. And I see it says 2, and I was like,
where's that fucking laptop?
I look at my phone, it says 3. I look at my phone, it said 3, and I went, fuck! Totally fucking forgot the time change. I was like, I'm so screwed.
That's classic.
I got up an hour later to like wrap the brisket. I was so fucking grumpy. I'm out there fucking cussing, throwing pellets at the wall. Fuck this.
That's great. That's great. I will say it does. In all honesty, it does affect me, because I've talked about it before. When it comes to sports, like as being a big hockey fan, I love my late night hockey. And now that the time has changed, hockey's over earlier, and then I get pissy about it because I'm like, it's my free time at night to watch that hockey, and now it's already over. And now it's like, I'm just gonna go to fucking bed because I hate my life. So
now you're forced to spend it with your wife.
God
damn it! I had a fucking excuse.
Time change, you fucking bitch. How about you, B-Word? How are you doing?
Oh, dude. And so after the last recording, I found myself coughing. I ended up getting a cough this last week, and actually, you and I had talked. I think it was on Monday about getting some videos and shit together, and there were some issues, and I was literally coming out of urgent care because I was like, okay, the last time I got sick and it was a cough similar to this, it was like cough and then it was fucking pneumonia. So I was like, I'm getting in front of that shit. Ooh. So, long story short, I get out of the urgent care. And they prescribe me 2 things. They give me an albuterol inhaler, and they give me prednisone, which is a steroid. And said, take Mucinex, you're going to be fine in a few days. Okay, no big deal. The problem was, by the time I got out of the urgent care, it was too late to go pick up my prescription. So I'm like, well, shit, I'll just pick it up at lunch tomorrow. So Tuesday at lunch, I run over to the pharmacy, and I grab my prescription, and I go home and I make a sandwich real quick and I take my prescription, or at least what I thought was my prescription. And I get home and I realize that I didn't take my prescription correctly because the bottle says take 2 pills first thing in the morning with food. And what I thought it said was take 1 pill in the morning and 1 pill at night with food. So I was like, well, shit. So at 8 o'clock at night, I take the other pill. Well, as it turns out, kind of like with stoned, prednisone has a side effect that causes insomnia. So here I am at 3 o'clock in the morning on fucking Wednesday morning going, what in the fucking ass? I can't sleep. I've taken a hot shower. I've taken a cold shower. I've beaten off. I've fucking gone for a walk. I've done X, Y, and Z, dude. I cannot figure out why the fuck I am still awake. By 4:30 in the morning, I'm texting my bosses, and I'm like, hey, I'm not coming in because I haven't gotten any sleep at all. So then shortly after 5 in the morning, maybe, I get a couple hours of sleep, and I wake up, and I don't do the same mistake, right? So I take the 2 pills again. The problem is that I thought, oh, well, I'm going to spend the day sleeping and just catch up. No, because the fucking pills just keep on coming. So now I'm up all day fucking Wednesday, and I finally got some sleep Wednesday night into Thursday, and then again Thursday into Friday. So this weekend has been just tiring. It's been a good weekend, but I'm exhausted. So the time change, I don't know if it came at the right time, but I'm happy to have a little bit extra light this week. So those 8 o'clock sunsets are something that I appreciate. So the closer we can get to that, the better. But this is my rundown this week, and I kind of slapped some shit together because, insomnia and fucking just coughing and having life shit happen. So if you don't like it, blame me. If you do like it, blame me, and we'll go from there. So let's start out with some raunchy conspiracies.
Raunchy conspiracies.
I asked each of you guys to bring to the table 3 conspiracy theories, and I didn't say if you believe in them or not, but I wanted to know what are your favorite conspiracy theories. So I'll go ahead and start with my first one, and we'll just kind of go round table from there. My first one, I've been banging a drum, basically, just banging my hand into the desk. I think this one's legit. And this one for me is called the Younger Dryas impact theory. And I know that Stoned has heard about this. I know that Gnome has heard about this. But the Younger Dryas impact theory is basically that somewhere between 11,000 and 14,000 years ago, there was a cataclysmic event where asteroids or comets or whatever came in, they hit the Earth, and it created this massive flood. You look at that same time frame, and there's the creation of the pyramids. You look at the vast creation of technology. The thought process is do you have an alien society that came in and taught us stuff, or do you have a highly civilized society that we were that turned into a hunter-gatherer society that passed along certain things, but we don't have nearly as high civilized society as we did before? But this you can prove a lot of this through soil samples. You can prove a lot of this in different rock structures and stuff. But this one's by far my favorite. Graham Hancock and Randy Carlson are the 2 main leaders of banging the drum on this one. But this one's been all over Rogan. This one is something that I've read on myself. I fucking love this one. This one does that scientific, historical, mind mesh for me, where it just goes in and massages my brain in ways that I can't explain. It's incredible. Have you guys heard of this? I know that you guys have, but BZ, have you heard of this one?
Yeah, old Graham Hancock, man. I actually heard that one when he was discussing that on the Joe Rogan Experience, so I'm familiar with it. I would have to say there are a lot of points to that one where you're like, well, shit, actually that does make a lot of fucking sense. It's not like flat Earth theory or anything.
Bunch of fucking
or
retards.
like, you know, or that birds are drones or some shit. You know,
birds aren't real.
I mean, you ever see a baby pigeon?
Yes, all the time.
Liar. You're a liar.
I see them all the time. They're delicious.
I used to subscribe to the theory that pigeons were fake until I blew one's brains out.
Like, I gotta study this motherfucker.
These things are real. That's brains. And then in my best Trump reaction, I went, "You're gay." No, but yeah, R.I.P. that bird. R.I.P.
BZ, what's your top one?
This is one that I'd actually heard on the TikTok, and I was like, oh shit, well that does kind of make sense. But this is the conspiracy theory that Disney had created the movie Frozen to basically hack the Google search algorithms, because everybody was talking about how Walt Disney cryogenically froze himself and was buried on the park somewhere. So everybody was like, well, that's not bullshit. I mean, there's no way. So they type in Disney Frozen, and then boom. Well, you get to see the new movie. It's the trailer now.
They just bury his Frozen. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. And I mean, Disney definitely has the money to do kind of shit. So well, that's true. They're kind of sinking ship at the moment.
It's an interesting one. I never thought about that, though. I've never heard of that, actually. But that's an interesting one, just because you try to, like, throw as much information that's out there. You know, you've got hashtags and different things that, like, tie into stuff. And the more you can flood that, it's a viable thing.
Well, even for sure. Us, like, you can go in and like the podcast realm, you could go in and buy all the different web addresses and shit like that are even somewhat relevant to your name, and then you pay Google to force those at the higher end of the search algorithms. So, you know, Disney definitely, that's just chump change for them. They're like, yeah, buy everything and put it to the top. So you'll have to go like 8,000 pages in before you're like, oh, now we're getting into the creepy shit.
No, what about you, man?
You know, I didn't rank any of mine, but I do like, there's two that go hand in hand, so I'll just throw two out there at the same time. One being that the Denver airport is the control, like, world organization for the Illuminati, right? And because it's massive. It's twice the size of Manhattan, right? I also like that there is a pyramid, and it was, after the Cold War ended, it was abandoned, but there is a pyramid that is about 90% done that is in North Dakota. And it's on a military base, and it was said that this was put there for Cold War purposes and like a missile silo base and stuff like that. But it actually, people are also saying that was it was and is still to this day an Illuminati meeting spot.
Of course it is.
So
that's why the pyramid's on the fucking bills, bro.
That's right. But yeah, and then it's like, of course, why not North Dakota? Because who the fuck's going there? So it's like, yeah, we can just get away with shit. So those two kind of go hand in hand. So I put those two down there because so many conspiracy theories, and I figured with the four of us, we're going to be bringing a lot to the table. So I went with some other ones that are a little bit less. I mean, Denver one's known, but the North Dakota one's not as well known. So. But yeah, those are. I'll give you my 1 and 2 on those.
The Denver airport is cool to fly into. Like, it's a really interesting airport, and there's a lot of shit, both, you know, architecturally and then also just in the form of art that make you just sit back and go, oh, this is really interesting. But there's supposedly like some big Masonic presence or something, like not only just Illuminati, but, you know, and it's
there's
crazy,
a lot of
man.
Shit that surrounds that airport.
Yeah.
I mean, like the big blue horse that sits outside, the guy who made it died because of the horse that fell on him. And it has like glowing, it's so creepy. It's glowing red eyes. The amount of times that we went in there at night and we're driving and I'm looking at it going, what the fuck? Like, that thing is so fucking creepy. Like just the fucking demonic red eyes of a blue horse staring at you. You're like, all right, damn, the 4 horsemen about to pop out of that bitch?
Well, what's funny
Yeah.
is the engineers or whoever, the architects or the maintenance staff, that whenever they're doing additions on there, they have actually, they play with it because they know this is such a big conspiracy theory. So they'll put up their construction signs saying, hey, pardon the construction, we're making new tunnels. Just random shit like that.
Yeah.
The Illuminati is watching, so we're trying to be secret.
Also, there's a big tram system in there that it connects A, B, and C with the baggage claim. And when you're in the tram, it's miles long, and all over the walls are little wind turbines. But like little ones you throw in your garden, like the plastic ones, all over the walls. I noticed that the last time we were in there. I was like, what the fuck? Has that been there this whole time? And it's all over the walls, everywhere.
Like the
They
little
spin
wind
every
wheel
time.
things the kids blow into?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're all over the walls. I was like, I'd never noticed that before. Damn. They're all over the place. Millions of them.
I will say
Weird
I've
shit.
been through the Denver airport probably a handful of times. And every time I'm there, it's probably the most convenient airport just to go through, as long as there's not some sort of weather, something that happens.
Yeah.
It's just really easy to get to, and it's weird, man. It's weird. It's oddly set up. It's almost. I hate to be all conspiratorial here, considering we're talking about conspiracies or whatever, but just the way that it's set up. Yeah, just the way that it's set up. It's like set up so perfectly that it almost feels like a Stepford Wives like airport. You know what I mean? Like just with access.
There's floors
and
you
stuff.
can't get to. There's
Yeah.
floors that you don't have access to, and it's like, what's on them floors, man?
It's all your weed stoned.
Lava.
That's where the stone safe house
Conspiracy
is located.
theory: all the weed in Colorado is being flown in from Burma.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Stone. What conspiracy theory you got?
Oh man, there's some really good ones I like, and I'm going to start with this one. It's one of my favorite conspiracy theories. So, have you all seen Moana?
Yup.
So, Moana is a story about this island girl in Hawaii, and she has to go and like save her island because of bad ecosystem shit happening, and it's like killing all the vegetation and the fish. So she goes and she has to find Maui. Maui's still the heart
Tafiti.
from the island, and has to like go restore the heart and make everything right again. The conspiracy theory is that in the beginning of the movie, Moana gets lost in a storm, and then she magically shows up in Maui's island. The conspiracy theory is she's dead,
Makes
and
sense.
she died in the storm. And Maui is a magical figure that is supposed to guide spirits to the next realm. So she wakes up in purgatory, and she has to be guided by Maui to fulfill her destiny of like, hey, like you fucked up by going in the storm, make shit right. And, she's brought back to like the promised land, which is basically their version of heaven. And I really like that conspiracy theory because it makes like so much sense, like how the hell is this chick like going down to the monster realm is not crushed by immense pressure? Like there's so many questions surrounding that whole movie. And you're like, how can you fall so far and hit the water and not break a bunch of bones in your body? Like when she fell before she hit the water, it was like hundreds and hundreds of feet. And you can't do that without breaking something because at a certain height, water becomes like concrete.
Yeah.
So I like that conspiracy theory. I like that. I like thinking about that.
I'm so
That's an interesting one.
Bioluminescence.
That one actually kind of ties into my second one. So the second one it has to do with a film as well. It has to do with the movie Grease. The film Grease, the entire plot of Grease is based off of Sandy's death dream. So at the beginning of Grease, you see Danny and Sandy on the beach and they're like playing and whatever. And then, she's from Australia, and next thing you know, she's somehow like without any notice moves and joins the school and like, makes all these friends and all this sort of stuff, right? And in the song Summer Lovin', Johnny says, I saved her life, she nearly drowned. Well, the whole thought process is that she's actually drowning and she's having this death dream of everything that happens in the movie Grease, from the dances to all the characters to the love story to everything. And then at the very end, when they're taking off in the car and they're going up in the sky, that's actually where she's dying. And so she has that entire dream, and she dies. And I think that is the darkest,
I like it.
craziest thought process that I fucking love it. And that's one of those little mind massage things in there that I'm like, oh, whether it's true or not, like, I choose to believe that.
I likes that better.
Those
Yeah,
two,
I like that.
those
conspiracy
two
theory.
that like Stone and what you just said, B-word, kind of tie into the other one that I really enjoy, which I'll just say is my last one, is that when we found the Higgs boson particle in 2012, it created a black hole that the Earth was sucked into.
Yeah.
So we're all actually dead and we don't know it yet. But
Yeah.
the world actually ended in 2012 and we are just unaware. I'm like, that's interesting. I like that one. And it just spins off the more and more you research it, which also brings in the Mandela effects. And because, what's weird is like prior to like, even in high school and like 5-6 years post high school, there was never a Mandela effect. Like nobody talked about that. It wasn't until after 2012 that the Mandela effect started to take place. So,
Yeah.
The fucking calendar ended.
and God damn it, there was a movie where Sinbad was a genie. We've all seen it.
We've all seen it.
We've seen it.
We've
He's
seen
you're
it.
a fucking
We've seen
liar.
It was Kazam.
No, it was not.
The theory of two. The theory of two supports it because of Kazam.
It's like saying that there's not a Bug's Life. There was only ants. Like,
Yeah.
there was a Sinbad genie film, and it happened, and I can't prove it, but it happened.
But I know it
I
happened.
know that it happened.
Yeah.
I know it happened.
Where there's Schwarzenegger, there's Stallone.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, so I had another one. I've got a really, really good one that I went down a fucking wormhole on. I'm going to save that one for my last one because it's pretty goddamn good. So there's another one that I had stumbled across on TikTok. And this is that having green lawns in the United States is a big push from Big Pharma. So they pushed that back in the 70s to have everybody have nice green manicured lawns because you have to use pesticides.
Have something nice to trip and look at.
Well, you have to use pesticides to keep them nice and beautiful. And then the pesticides cause cancer. And then, of course, Big Pharma gets to cash in because you got cancer.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I would not put anything past Big Pharma.
Agreed. They helped
That's
Disney.
That's the landscaping version of a Grease storyline right there. Yeah, I don't discount that at all. There's a lot of things that happen in society right now that I'm just like, here's why we're doing that, and oh, here's the bigger picture, and like, oh, we're being distracted by this, right? But I could see that happening.
For sure.
Stone, what's your next one, buddy?
To kind of go into that, we're in such a pay it no mind, sure I'll be compliant point in life where COVID happened. I mean, for fuck's sake. Like, we all know, like, that shit was just brought about by elites to, A, control the population, and B, gauge how far they could get away with stuff. You know, I mean, from everything that happened, like that entire thing was engineered by the elites at the top from every single place. You know, like when you look at it, so I'm not going to name names because she might listen to this, but I know someone who has a friend who's a nurse who had told her that in the height of COVID, the hospital that she was at was having people put on ventilators, and they were dosing them up with stuff that would make your lungs stop unless you were on a ventilator. And there was like literally no reason to be on
They
that
were
stuff.
drowning them,
and
basically.
so she
Yeah.
like she was protesting it. She was like, I am not going to shoot up this patient with this. Like, this goes against my entire oath. Like, we're killing these people. And they were like, you can do it or you can get fired. And so she like left that hospital. And I had seen some stuff posted on like Reddit and other places like that where people were giving these like offhand stories. And I'm like, damn, dude. Because like when you listen to all those people that went on ventilators and were just dying left and right from the ventilators over something as very just simple and it was so wild how all the media organizations were bought in so easy, so quick, and were thrown so much money, and how now everything is brought to you by Pfizer or brought to you by Moderna, and how Johnson & Johnson was a scapegoat, for fuck's sake, Pfizer or Moderna, one of the two, had a massive, gigantic issue back in 2010 where they were launching a bunch of medication that was killing like thousands of people. And they attempted to go to the court and get immunity from it. And then the court made them pay out like $4 billion, but they made 11 total. So they walked away with $7 billion after killing thousands of people from this medication that they knew was going to kill people and pushed it anyways because they're going to make money. I mean, the writing is on the wall. Like, this entire thing was made up by the elites to get us to a point in the future of we're going to have like some type of crazy Wolfenstein moment where like Hitler does win. And that shit, it's about to become like a federalistic place, and it's going to get real bad real fast.
It's funny because it's very simple. Like, I was actually watching a deal on Mythbusters. They were saying they were doing the air crash test, and the myth was when they tell you to put your head down between the seats and blah, 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 they do that so when the plane crashes, it snaps your neck and kills you, because the theory is that a payout is cheaper than long-term care, which is so fucked up.
Damn.
That makes sense.
I mean, it is.
Well, it's kind of similar to what happened with the company that made OxyContin. I don't remember what that company's name is.
Oh, yeah.
But the whole reason why the company made OxyContin was because of how addictive it was. But the back end of that wasn't that they just wanted to continue to sell OxyContin. That wasn't their end goal. The end goal was that the company wanted to actually have drug rehabs, and that's where the money was going to be.
Mm-hmm. Get them hooked.
And so by getting people hooked onto OxyContin and then into the drug rehabs, they were making money on both ends. And even like with that company, Stone, kind of like what you were saying, that company made so much money that even the penalties that they had to pay, they still were net positive, like billions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's so there is precedent for a theory like that.
On that same theory with the elites, I'm going to throw this one in there. It's not my last one, but you also have the Lahaina fires in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And
And
how
in
it's
Texas,
fucking crazy in Texas as well.
well,
Of course,
roofs
Texas,
weren't
we
right.
already know.
Their roofs weren't right. Like, what did you just fucking say? Did Biden just confirm everybody's conspiracy theory on that?
Yeah. What's funny though is there were several people that had made videos and stuff about the Lahaina fires, and they were talking about high energy weapons and how the color blue basically absorbs it to where it doesn't affect it, and then you can see just decimation, shit just straight fucking leveled, and then there's a blue fucking umbrella for like out on the patio, like a patio umbrella that untouched. Had nothing wrong with that. And then you have just a row of vehicles that hit so hot that it melted the rim, like the aluminum rims. And they're saying that it's like 3,200 or whatever to melt the aluminum, and a base fire wouldn't get that hot. And then you'd have a blue car right next to it that's fucking untouched. So you're just like, God dang.
And it's hard to not entertain those conspiracies when you see stuff like that.
Sure.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
I totally get where people do the whole tinfoil hat and stuff, but there's been a lot of tinfoil hats that haven't turned out to be tinfoil. You know what I mean? Like, some of this shit's come alive. So my final one here is that there's a great mattress store conspiracy in the
It's one of my
in the
favorites.
north, and I love this one because I totally believe that this one is happening. That there's so many mattress companies in the north, like in the Chicagoland area and whatever, that they're all doing this laundering operation up there, and I totally think that it's doable. I think it's legit. You know, you look at how corporations work. They've got, district and division and regional management and all that sort of stuff. the Teamsters were an organization that was used for a lot of laundering too. So the fact is that there's precedent for it, but I just love the fact that they're hiding money in mattresses, like not literally, but they're I just think
where do you hide the money?
Yeah, in the fucking mattress stores, in the mattress stores. So I just think it's a beautiful conspiracy theory that I just want to believe it, and I'm going to say that I absolutely believe it. So that's my final one right there for sure.
That's beautiful. Mine has a somewhat tie-in to money laundering in a grander scheme of things. But my final one is my brother introduced me to this one, and it was a podcast. I think it was called Crime Junkies. And she was talking about this unsolved murder for 2 boys that were murdered on the train tracks. And this happened in Bryant, Arkansas. And there has been so much shit done on this particular case. It was actually on Unsolved Mysteries. And there's a couple of people that have just privately done their own investigation on this, and a lot of that stuff is on YouTube. But basically what it boils down to is these 2 kids just happened to see a big drug drop. So I don't know, did y'all ever see the movie American Made?
Yeah.
Okay, so Barry Seal was flying for the CIA and then got recruited by the cartels to fly coke and shit. Well, it's highly probable that this was a coke drop from Barry Seal that these guys just happened to witness. And they were like 14 and 15 years old. So they got popped because they saw it. But it was the sheriff that did it. Actually, it was the state medical examiner was involved, and he was a shady motherfucker. And it also happened the same time that there was a future president that was the governor of the state of Alabama at the time. So they're thinking that there's a lot of involvement that way too. So not to name names because I don't want to get Epsteined.
And it wasn't Alabama. It might have been Arkansas, but
yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Arkansas, my bad.
yeah.
Stone, what's your final one?
Oh, it's Epstein. My final one is JFK, and I had always thought, like mostly everyone else, it was the mob that killed JFK. No, it was the CIA. Because when you read into the Bay of Pigs and you read into all that other stuff, like he was very much against, government doing of like the CIA and Black Ops, and he at one point wanted to disband them. The conspiracies behind it, one that comes to mind that is almost like of that level is Route 91. And specifically because I remember when Route 91 happened, a bunch of people said there were multiple shooters because they could hear gunfire from multiple different directions.
Right.
And then the media landed on it was just one person. It was the patsy.
Yeah.
Which JFK, Lee Harvey. But multiple people there were like, hold on, we heard gunshots from all different directions. And when you see him, when you see the way he moves from being shot both times, it's in different directions.
Have you seen the
Lee
most
Harvey
recent
was.
video that I just saw this in the last couple months?
The Zapruder film?
That it was that the driver was one of the shooters. And if you watch the video again, you can actually see the driver
didn't the
turn
driver get
around
shot?
right as he's getting shot.
I didn't see that part. I saw he got shot. The driver got shot too.
I
didn't see like he turned around and like
right.
shoot him.
If you find the video, it's at first like you don't think of it when you've seen it until somebody says something, and then you watch it again and you're like, holy fuck, the driver was also a shooter. Like, to make sure that this happened.
I gotta look that up. Is that the Zapruder film? Like where it's that front angle?
No, this
view?
is a side view. For this one.
Yeah, it's like that front side.
No, it's just from the side. Period.
That comedian from side, because that comedian in the 70s like had that Zapruder film, and like that came out. Everyone was like, "Well, hold on a second, that isn't."
Also,
what?
he has multiple gunshots that have different exit. Like one's coming in the front, one's coming out the front.
Yeah,
and you're just like, well,
it's the magic
how did Lee
bullet.
Harvey Oswald pull that puppy off? He trick shooter, huh?
Yeah.
And then you have the bullet theory, which is complete bullshit. because even if you haven't been hunting, like you would know that something hitting bone is going to just devastate whatever's hitting it on average, unless it's like a fucking, like pounding from like a sledgehammer. Right. But a little tiny metal bullet traveling 2,100 feet per second, hitting like straight in a bone, it's a moment of immovable object meets unstoppable force. They're both going to get fucked up. And for that bullet to come out completely smooth after going through his fucking skull or going through his chest and breaking through ribs, like this shit doesn't happen. Like some dude from the CIA was walking right next to him and just like out of his shirt pocket, like drop like out of the coat, like fucking cloak and dagger, just dropped a 30-06 round tip on top and was like, "Oh yeah, here's the bullet right here." No, and then as well, I don't know the validity of this. I just know that one of my favorite people said it, which is Oliver Stone. But on one of the recent podcasts from Rogan, Stone was talking about like his like team people that were reading like stuff redacted, like coming through the woodworks of the CIA. It said that there was a doctor who recounted a story about one of the high-ranking generals in the autopsy room smoking a cigar, and he approached him and was like, "You got to put that out. This is an autopsy room." And he blew smoke in his face and was like, "The fucker's dead," and was like celebrating it. And I was like, "Oh."
Well, the only thing that I have to add to that is that the whole Mayan calendar thing happened in 2012. December 21st, 2012? Was that the particular day? Either way, I had this lady working for me, a young girl, and like a month, 6 weeks after December 21st, 2012, she said, "Hey, I'm pregnant." And I said, "You didn't use protection because it was the last day on Earth?" And she's like, "No, I really didn't, because I thought the world was going to end."
Yes.
so she has a child. I actually wish her child happy birthday all the time with like little Mayan symbols and shit. So it's pretty funny. But speaking of Kennedys, and this is kind of funny. So we had the State of the Union this week that nobody watched, I imagine, and then the Cheeto was probably live tweeting it or whatever his platform is, and whatever. Well, in the meantime, Robert Kennedy Jr. tweeted something to the effect of, "We need to be thinking about voting for somebody who's going to be alive in office." And I saw somebody respond to that and says, "Bold tweet from a Kennedy."
Wink,
and I was
wink.
like, "Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck." It was damn good, dude. I was like, "Oh shit, that's so fucked. That's so fucked."
Damn.
All right, boys. Well, our next segment is. All right, so coming in blind. So I wanted to do something a little different with you guys. I know that you three have passions about music. I also have passions about music, but specific to you, specific to a time period, I want you to give me your top 3 music tracks of any genre that you want that define your high school years.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, so top 3 tracks that define your high school years.
Yes. So these can be your top 3 songs in high school. These can be 3 songs that were popular in high school. But I want to try to make it identified to you. So I want this to have some meaning to you. So for instance, I'll start. One of the first emo, I guess, bands you can call it. That came out. They came out in the late '90s with Mud Shovel, but they came out with Stained with the song "It's Been a While," and I didn't really like that song as much, but the song "Outside" was something that was just completely in my ears over and over and over again. It
Still
was
is
on the
till this
radio,
day,
X1075. Yeah, I still listen to it. Yeah, divorced dad rock, dude. I'm all about that life. But I like Stained. I like Aaron Lewis, but there was something about his voice at the time that was new, that was different, that I really enjoyed. So that would be my song number 1. Song number 2, oh shit, why am I forgetting who they're called? It's You and Me, Baby, Ain't Nothing But Mammals.
Bloodhound Gang.
Bloodhound Gang.
Gang.
I still remember buying that CD, and you could put your tongue in a little,
you sure
in a little slot, and you could make a booby.
The album was called
there's
Hooray
that
for
one.
Boobies.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
It was
yes.
a great album.
Yes, that one was good. And then I think my final one, and this is going to be where it goes different, was Usher. So Usher was kind of prominent, and it was the song "You Remind Me," and I remember that song because kind of like Beezy, I was in band and I was also in choir for a bit, and that Usher album was pretty heavily popular within the choir people. And I was trying to bed some women that were in there, some ladies at the time, and so I was trying to sing those songs. So I'm going to go with those three.
Nice.
So whichever one of you wants to take it next, go ahead.
I'll roll next. I'm just going to go ahead and put this out here in the internet verse. Creed.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking, I love Creed. I love
Yeah.
Creed. So I think it was the Weathered album when
gotta
that
go.
one came out.
It's
My
been fun.
I think it was my junior year, maybe. But I didn't really care for Human Clay, the first album, and then I think the second one was called Higher. But I did like the second album. Wasn't a huge fan of the first, and then I loved the second so much. As soon as the third one came out, I was like, I'm getting this fucking album. So that was actually on my Columbia House list that I got. So I got the
That's
Creed
a
Weathered.
throwback.
Fucking Columbia House.
So, and then I got Hooray for Boobies. Because I was not going to be able to buy that shit in my very Christian house. So I had to turn the volume down when I was listening to that fucker. But no, I think the Creed, really anything. I listened to both of those albums pretty heavily. For my second one, all right, this is how nerdy I am, big band nerd. So there's a song that was written by John Williams. Everybody knows John Williams. If you don't,
Who's John Williams?
So if you don't know John Williams, he's written all of the big Hollywood soundtracks for like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, all that kind of shit. So he wrote a song called Summon the Heroes, and it was an Olympic fanfare for one of the fucking Olympics. Anyways, he wrote it specifically for this trumpet player, Tim Morrison, and I actually got to have a private lesson with Tim in Cincinnati at the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music on his fucking song. So that one is always, I still listen to that goddamn song because it's just a good fanfare and a really special moment for me, however gay that may sound. And then number 3 is a tough one. I would probably say Bow Down by West Side Connection. We listen.
Fuck yes.
We listen to that every fucking morning on the way to school because the band director's son was the tuba player and he was 2 years older than me. And we'd drive up to the band hall in the morning and jam out that entire first. We'd only get about 2 or 3 songs in, but it always started with Bow Down. So that one, I still listen to that song today. That's a good one.
All right, Noam, what do you got?
So I would have to say One Step Closer by Linkin Park has to be on my list. That entire album, like I could probably list albums instead of just songs for my
Agreed.
high school, but
Yeah,
I would say One
same.
Step Closer revolutionized it. You know, them as a band, and we actually talked about this on an episode that's coming out in Hateful Gnome's Music Hut. So stay tuned. For a couple weeks from now. But them, My Name Is by Eminem has to be on that list, because that was right into my freshman year of high school.
Yeah, buddy.
And
Chicka chicka Slim Shady.
I would say another one that to stay in the rock theme of things, Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit.
Oh, nice.
Such a good song.
So
That's
So,
a good
I mean, and it was tough, like, doing this on the fly. I could change this a million different ways.
Yeah.
I could. That's what I
Yeah.
love about this segment. But just off the top of my head, because I mean, Bloodhound Gang, easily could make that one of them.
Yep.
There's so many. I'm interested to hear Stones because he's a little bit younger than us. So, his high school music is probably going to be something that we were still rocking out to or jamming to, just
Yeah.
a different time. So I'm interested to hear yours. AJ.
Taylor Swift, Shake It Off.
Let's go.
No, apple bottom
Lollipop,
jeans,
Lil
baby.
Wayne.
Wrecking Ball by Miley
No,
Cyrus.
Okay. So
Party in the USA.
Hey, you don't fuck
Lollipop
around with that song.
was number 2, and apple bottom jeans was number 1. Apple bottom jeans made it all the way through high school, and nonstop it was something people were blasting.
With
And
Flo
Lollipop
Rida?
was almost right around junior year. People stopped playing Lil Wayne as much, but for whatever reason, apple bottom jeans was like the song of my high school years.
It makes
for
sense.
whatever reason, no matter where it was always there. Just like in middle school, it will always be Drop It Like It's Hot. Like it will
Drop It
always
Like
be,
It's
because
Hot.
that was
Drop It Like It's
nonstop. Heard it 3 times a day, every day, 6th grade, nonstop. So yeah, but that was like the song of like my high school. My 3 personal for me, Joker and the Thief by
good one.
Wolfmother.
Joker.
That was my getting psyched music to like go to awards at like speech and debate, or like going into like finals rounds. That would like hype me up to like do my best work when I'm just a fucking anxious mess and I'm like, oh my god, I'm going against like the best in the nation, I'm fucked. And I just sit there and put on that song and I'm like, I fucking got this, let's go. And then if I was really pissed with the with what happened afterwards, the trophy ceremony, it would be either Blackened by Metallica or Wake Up Dead by Megadeth, because that was my high school years. But the kind of off-brand one here would be Toxicity by System of a Down, because me and my best friend would sing that entire album almost every day together when we were hanging out. And that's kind of like where I learned how to carry a tune was from my buddy Jake. And he would sing really fucking good. And unfortunately, he went off on a different path in life and got into some nasty shit, but he had like a golden voice, and I really wish he would have like used something with it, because that dude could fucking sing. And whenever I hear that song, I always think about I always think about making up English 2 at Green Valley High School and singing that album in the courtyard at like the lunchtime that we have. Like whenever
Such
I
a
hear
great
that song,
album.
that's what I always
It's
think.
hands down, if not a top 5 for sure, a top 10 album for me. It's so fucking good.
Easily.
Despite messages and all that shit in it, the album itself from beginning to end is so fucking good.
Well, and it was unique too.
Yeah.
When it came out, there was nothing like it.
Yeah,
There's
agree.
nothing like it.
Agree.
I've always enjoyed. That's one of the bands. Like, I finally got to mark off Tenacious D from my hit list of bands I've got to see before I die, and then System of a Down is the other one. So I mean, I've always loved System of a Down, and I couldn't put them on this list because I didn't fucking think about it.
They put on a banger
But
show.
Yeah.
It's a
I
good
have
time.
actually that's one of the other bands that I've owned every single album since they've released.
The first time I saw them, they opened with Intervision, and holy shit, did the fucking T-Mobile Arena explode.
I bet.
I've never been at a show where people were singing louder than the PA system. It was wild.
That's awesome. All right, boys. Well, we're going to take a real quick break, and we'll be right back.
The Raunchy Regret Podcast.
I'll bring you guys back to Mad TV back in the day. Y'all remember Miss Swan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, she's looking like a man.
Two guys in a dart.
Sorry,
And
I had to rub my ear hole out real quick.
are you all right, buddy?
I just felt so good. I'm sorry.
This is usually the behind the scenes content that you're getting, but I'm leaving it right here in this episode. We are not taking that out.
Unfiltered discussions.
So you feel like the forgiveness is actually better for you in general?
That was a big reason that the therapist was like, you do have to choose. And the only way you can get that inner peace is by forgiving.
And the Hateful Gnomes Music Hut.
Like our last episode, we're rolling right into another band.
Hell yeah, when I saw your drummer, I saw he was wearing an obituary shirt. And I was like, yeah, let's fucking go, dude.
Follow B Word Media Group on social media at BWORD Media GRP.
Welcome back to Raunchy Regret. This is B-Word, and as usual, I'm here with all these guys that don't know anything about anything just because I don't know anything about anything. I really didn't know what to say right there, so I figured I'd say something.
These
So,
guys.
there we go. There we go.
Fucking jag-off.
These fucking guys over here.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
All right,
Forget about it.
final segment, boys. Baseball season is upon
I was
us.
pumped about this one, by the way. when I saw this
one,
because it also reminded me of WWE, like of growing up wrestling. So BZ, obviously you don't know about that because you whatever. But when you wrote this, it was so good, and I'm still probably wrong about my shit. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I get excited over baseball season because I think baseball is one of the purest sports that's out there. But what I love about going and seeing baseball games in person is that you get the full experience, and part of that experience is the walkout music on the plate. So what I've written down here is what top 3 songs would each of you want to go out to the plate with, and you can tell me why, you can tell me what song, you explain the meaning behind it, whatever it means to you, but then at the end you're going to give a song for each person that's here on this podcast. So I'll go ahead and start with my top 3 just to get it rolling. My first one is "Rollin'" by Limp Bizkit.
Nice. The Air Raid or the other
I
one?
think the Air Raid. And just because I think that's just a really good song that just pumps you up, and I'm totally good with that. The second one would be "The Beautiful People" by Marilyn Manson. Just that intro drum. Yeah, just go like that. Absolutely. And then my last one would be "Hypnotized" by Biggie. Just because I love Biggie.
Yeah.
I realize it doesn't really fit in the sport, but I don't care. This is that one that I'm going to close it out. You know, it's my final up to bat or whatever, and so that's where I went with that one. So let's go with Stoned. Stoned. What are your top 3 for you?
Real quick, my song that I pictured you coming out to was it's pretty close to Biggie. So when you said Biggie, I was like, yeah, all right. So my top 3 Stones. My top 3 songs that I would come out to. First would be "Sad But True" by Metallica.
Oh yeah.
That's like a really good versatile song to come out to for like any sporting. You know, depending on like what sport it is, I would have like a different song to come out to, but I think that one's a pretty versatile one to come out to for anything. So definitely that would be on there. Another one would be "Rockstar" by Nickelback, because I feel like it would just get me like in the zone to just crank a home run or strike out, most likely strike out. And then the last one would just be to "Just for Me," honestly. And I've said this before when we were on Dads, if I had walkout music for a live show for Dads or any podcast I'd be on, it would be "Hits from a Bong" by Cypress Hill, because fuck yeah. Pick it, pack it, fire it up. Fuck yeah. Okay, and I would just be fucking crip walking the whole way to the plate.
See that. Totally see that.
That's funny because that'll fall somewhat into the song I picked for you. So that's
same here.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. All right, Nomi, what do you got?
So I went with 3 that are, well, actually, the third one I think is going to puzzle everybody just because it's not something that is mainstream. But I think it's something that's fun. And if you know the song, then it would be fun to listen to a walkout. But the first 2 obviously are big hitters. "Bulls on Parade" by Rage Against the Machine. You know, it's got everything it needs. Number 2, kind of like "Beautiful People." You got to have that first spark to really get people amped. So I went with "Dr. Feelgood" by Motley Crue.
Nice.
Okay.
Because that one's, you know, you just got that thump right at the beginning to get you all amped. And my last one is just an absolute fun one. I always love this song, and I always thought it would be fun to do like. You know, if you were walking out as a fighter like UFC, just because this would puzzle the shit out of people. Why would you be playing this? But it's "Triple Trouble" by the Beastie Boys. I would have to have that song as one of my walkout songs because it's just, it's catchy, it's fun, and it's different. It's off the wall. So,
all right, BC, what do you got?
All right. So my number 1 song, this is a tribute, because anytime me and Pinewood are together, and it's not where you think we're going. It's not tribute. But anytime me and Pinewood would get together, we have to listen to this song. Be it we're going to a funeral, we're going camping, we're going fishing, whatever the fuck it is. As soon as we get to a certain point, we're listening to Thunderstruck.
Hell yeah.
Because we know shit's about to go down. So that's definitely my number 1 song on the hit list, if you will. number 2, and I'm glad that we have System of a Down fans because my number 2 song was Old School Hollywood. I was hoping one of y'all were going to get it.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
There you go.
All right.
And then my number 3 song is Blister by Red Sun Rising because it's got a pretty sick fucking guitar lick in there. I really
That's
like
a good
it.
pick.
How are we going to do the ones that we got for each other?
Why don't you just start?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, Gnome, the one that I've got for you is a remake. I don't want the original from Ronnie James Dio. I got to have the remake from Tenacious D.
Okay.
And we're doing Last in Line. But you got to cue it up right at the beginning when he goes, home!
Love it.
Hell yeah.
So that's what I got for you. We could do that, or we could do Twilight of the Thunder God by Eminem Roth. I don't even think I said that one right.
Close enough.
Yeah, it was close enough. B Word, you got a fucking winner right here. Let It Go from Frozen.
Yes. Yes.
And Stoned.
He takes off his baseball cap and he's got a fucking giant mane of
Dude, I
hairs.
totally picture him blasting that motherfucker and coming out and doing the Babe Ruth signal with the bat. I'm about to let it go, bitch.
Look like Ham off of the fucking Sandlot.
Yeah.
And then this one, I listened to several songs to try and find the one for Stoned. And I felt like the only one that really fit was Black Smoke Rising by Greta Van Fleet.
That's a good one.
I fucking love Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, who doesn't like Led Zeppelin 2.0?
Exactly.
That's basically all they are.
More indie.
All right, Noam, what do you got?
Okay, so you're welcome, B Word. I was a gracious dick to you last week for fun, so I was not this week. I gave you Rock Fist, as you should like and have. So I know you love that song,
one.
and that's a great walkout song as well. So why not?
It's a great walkout song, yeah.
Beezy, I don't know why I came up with this, and it reminds me of you, but in a weird fucking way. I gave you "Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy" by Big and Rich. So 'cause I just think you would jam the fuck out walking with a bat to the plate with that song.
Funny story about this. So I didn't realize I knew all the lyrics to that goddamn song.
Oh, as do I.
And
who doesn't?
My aunt's father-in-law has a ranch with his very own karaoke studio.
Ooh.
So we went there for my mom's birthday a couple years back and had a bunch of the family there, and it was just literally a free-for-all. You get up there, and somebody ended up queuing us up for that song.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I don't know all the words to this.
You tore
Well,
it
I'm
down.
jumping into the room, passing out $100 bills.
Little known fact, you're like, holy shit, I guess I do.
I was like, what happened? I blacked out.
That's great. That's fantastic.
I highly approve.
Where'd
I
this
highly
white cowboy
approve
hat
of
come
that
from?
one.
That's fantastic. That makes it all the better. And then there is no other song that I would think of for the Stoned to come out to than Next Episode by Dr. Dre.
Nice.
It just, he comes out of the dugout, hits. There's smoke, some guy with a fog machine behind him. It could be a fog machine. It could just be his fucking weed that he's just put his joint down. Either way, that's the song that I see him coming out to.
Now.
So,
All right, fuck it. Come on, hurry up.
All right, Stone, what do you got?
All right, so for Jordan, break stuff. Because, I know you. He's definitely going to come out to break stuff, 100%. He's about to fucking crack this thing and make sure the team does well while the rest of us shit the bed. For B Word, I had Gangster's Paradise.
good one.
Fuck yes, dude.
Yeah,
All about
I
that.
could see you 100% coming out to Gangster's Paradise and just fucking own
Please
it.
tell me you
I just
gave.
want to put an asterisk on that. I would even come out to Amish
God damn it, I was
Paradise,
hoping that
'cause
he
song
gave-
is just so fucking good.
I was hoping he gave me Amish Paradise.
Beezy, the only thing that came to mind for you, and I could not shake this off, is All Summer Long by Kid Rock.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. I was like trying to think of something else, and I was like, I just can't see you walking out to any other song but that. Just being you, just being yourself, and you're just like, I'm about to fucking crank this shit. Like, what? All right, Southern boy, let's see how you do it. Yeah, you motherfuckers don't know. All right, let's go. Crack! Thing is out of there. Shit, we better start listening to Kid Rock. There's fucking something in that. Damn.
So I'll round this out. BZ, I settled on you with Bartender Song by Rehab.
Bartender really did it this time.
Exactly. I figured
Never heard
you fucked up. You done fucked up. And you got to now close it out. So that's what I did for you. Stoned, I circled back with like 6 or 7 songs for you, man. And the only one that like really stuck was Because I Got High by Afro Man.
That's a great,
yeah.
So that's just why I left it there. And then, Gnome, I know that you laid in on me last week, but I figured I'd be a little gracious and I wouldn't, do the Lollipop Guild or It's a Small
I was waiting for it.
World
I was waiting for it.
or Baby by Justin Bieber or anything like that. But the one that I just think that would be really cool, and I don't even know if you know the song, and there's a part in the song that I think that would be cool. It's Timbaland and Magoo. Do you know who they are?
Yes.
So Timbaland's a famous producer. So Timbaland and Magoo. The song is called Love to Love Ya. Yeah. And it's the rap as soon as Magoo starts rapping. As soon as he gets into his part, it would be like that first 10, 15 seconds right there. And for no reason, there's no lyric that ties to it. I just think it'd be really cool to come out to Magoo's lyrics. And I thought that would be really cool. Because the first time I listened to Timbaland and Magoo, and again, has really nothing to do with you, but I didn't know what Magoo looked like. And as soon as I heard him rapping, I was like, "Is this Stefan Urkel?" and I'm confident. I'm confident to this day that it is Stefan Urkel. But yeah, so Timbaland and Magoo, Love to Love You. So I figured I'd be a little easier on you than the hamster dance or some weird shit like that.
I was waiting for it, man.
So.
When I saw this, I was like, "Here we go, here we go." Full send, and I would have accepted it. So.
Yeah. I know. But that's all right, man. Well, boys, it's been a fucking pleasure recording with you again. Episode 10 in the books. Mm-hmm. Stay raunchy.
I say just give them hell.
Beezy's going to go right after this recording's done and throw on Big and Rich and just fucking dance around. He's probably got a man thong on. He's going to go nuts.
Because I've got to practice and prepare and study because I'm going to the doctor on Tuesday to get the old... So I've been working. I'm about up to that size. So hopefully it doesn't hurt too bad.
For everyone listening at home, he just held up a beer bottle.
Oh, sorry. I started this way. I had to have this to pull it out.
And it's a regular one, too, not a Corona.
Watch out, you think you're big baller. Bow down to make another dollar. Stand up and hear the world holler. I say just give them hell.